celebrating the lives that PEPFAR has saved, the children that are alive today, because the generosity of American people. And to hear that $9 million for what? For abortion?
To perform abortion and gender analysis in the
Are you sure about that?
Senator.
Wow. I don't hear any more crap about us from.
For nearly 20 years, PEPFAR has been hailed as one of the world's most effective global health efforts, preventing HIV transmission and delivering life-saving treatment across Africa. It was bipartisan and broadly supported, but in this hearing, Senator Lindsey Graham, once one of its fiercest allies, warned the program is straying from its core mission. He says funds intended to fight HIV are now being redirected toward ideological social agendas, rather than directly saving lives. Welcome to Congress Unpacked, where we break down Washington's debates and examine what's really driving them. If you believe accountability begins with clarity, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.
You gave some examples of, like the $20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq and all that bad stuff. As I understand it, that's not really what we're talking about. The things that you read about PEPFAR spending, could you go over that some of the crazy stuff?
Sure. $333,000 for LGBTQ advocacy in Uganda, $530,000 for Lesbian Justice Foundation, $9.3 million to advise Russian doctors on how to perform abortions and gender analysis.
And that used PEPFAR money.
PEPFAR.
Okay, so to my colleagues over here who are upset, you ought to sit in my shoes. I have been supporting this program as hard as I know how to support it, in good faith, believing that preventing mother-to-child AIDS transmission is not only good human policy, it's good national security, it's the right thing to do, it's good soft power. And now I have to listen to this. And to those like Samantha Power, you're the one that got rid of USAID. And the people who are running PEPFAR, to let that amount of money, I mean, that's millions of dollars, right?
Yes, sir.
To go to that junk. We have common ground on protecting children and mothers from passing on to their child AIDS. We have common ground on keeping people alive who have been infected with AIDS. And to my Democratic colleagues, there is a consequence to this crap. $400 million, first thing I thought about, wow, how is PEPFAR fraud, waste, and abuse? Well, I had no idea there was $1 spent like this. So you opened my eyes. Now, I just want to tell the committee this. I believe in PEPFAR as much as I've ever believed in it. I think it is a vital program that saved millions of lives. But to those who've run this program and allowed this to happen, you clearly don't appreciate it as much as I do.
During the hearing, Senator Graham pressed for explanations after discovering that U.S. funds originally designated to prevent mother-to-child HIV transmission were being diverted to what he called unrelated social programs. He cited spending records showing $333,000 for LGBTQ advocacy in Uganda, $530,000 for the Lesbian Justice Foundation, and $9.3 million to advise Russian clinicians on abortion procedures and gender analysis. Graham's response was blunt, disbelief that money intended to save lives was being used this way. The senator, long regarded as one of PEPFAR's strongest defenders, did not mince words. He acknowledged the program's life-saving legacy, but sharply criticized its current leadership, including USAID Administrator Samantha Power, for allowing what he described as political priorities to seep into humanitarian work. "You make it harder for the rest of us," Graham said, pushing back against suggestions that questioning the spending was somehow insensitive. Graham accused program administrators of straying from PEPFAR's original mission, saving lives, and instead using the funds to advance ideological objectives.
You clearly care more about your political agenda than the actual goal that the American people signed up to with President Bush. Don't you think President Trump likes the idea of PEPFAR, helping people stay alive who've been infected with AIDS?
A paramount principle with this program, Senator, and you've probably had conversations with him about it, is he wants to preserve the life-saving treatment.
He is so all in on this. But what you don't know is he's talked to Bill Gates a couple of times about a vaccine for AIDS. He would like President Trump to spend some time and effort and money on finding a vaccine, which would be a blessing. So it's not a Trump problem here. I know him pretty well. And to my Democratic colleagues, when you're in charge of these programs, or people in the administration are in charge of these programs, and this happens, you make it so much harder on the rest of us. And what you found in PEPFAR just astonishes me, that money would be spent that way. I've traveled the entire continent of Africa and other places with bipartisan delegations celebrating the lives that PEPFAR has saved, the children that are alive today, because the generosity of American people. And to hear that $9 million for what? For abortion?
To perform abortion and gender analysis in the
Are you sure about that?
Senator.
Wow. I don't hear any more crap about us from y'all. None. This happened on your watch. No more preaching to me. I'm going to vote for this package. You know why I'm going to vote for it? Just as a statement that PEPFAR is important, but it's not beyond scrutiny. That the way you run the government has consequences. Don't lecture me about being mean or cruel. If you really give a damn, people in charge of this program, they wouldn't have let this happen. We wouldn't spend $9 million helping doctors in Russia perform abortions. What else was on the list?
4.4 in funding to recruit gender and inclusive development experts. $35 million to address vasectomy messaging.
That's just a bunch of bullshit. You've taken a program that really has saved people's lives, and you let people run it her nuts. Well, there's a cost to that. So I'll continue to support PEPFAR, but I'm not going to support this stuff. I'll continue to try to work with President Trump to find a vaccine for AIDS. I'll continue to show people throughout the developing world we care about them. But I will not continue to bless this kind of stuff. Thank you for what you've done.
The senator stressed that this isn't about partisan politics or about Trump. It's about accountability. In his view, the issue is not the mission of PEPFAR, but the oversight that allowed its funding to drift away from saving lives. Graham closed with a clear warning. He will continue to support PEPFAR's core mission, but not what he called ideological spending. The exchange ended in silence and quickly ignited debate online. The question now is whether one of America's most successful global health programs has strayed from its purpose, or whether it's become another battleground in Congress's widening cultural conflict. What's your take? So the question now shifts from policy to principle. Should foreign aid programs, like PEPFAR, face tighter congressional oversight to ensure every dollar goes to medical care? Or are these accusations being overstated, risking a program credited with saving millions of lives? The stakes are real. The implications global. Debate isn't going away. Drop your view in the comments. This is Congress Unpacked. No spin, just answers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and put on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing.